Namaste, good morning to all. I'm Saurangshu and I'm back while continuing the series for constitutional development. This video lecture will be the best when it's being used as a reference along with the textbooks for students to grab the information easily. It's targeted to college and university students based on UGC guidelines. And if you want to know more about the country, do comment, so I'll make a separate video for that as well. So let's dive into the topic, that is the constitutional development in Nigeria. Okay, so giving a brief outlook of Nigeria, Nigeria is a West African country located along the Gulf of Guinea, bordered with the Niger to the north, the Chad and Cameroon to the east, and the Benin to the west. It has a diverse landscape with tropical rainforest, savannas, and coastal plains. The country operates under a presidential system, so it doesn't have a prime minister. The current president is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who won in 2023, and he is there since. Nigeria is known for its vast ethnic diversity with over 250 groups. The three largest ethnic groups are the Hausa Fulani, mainly in the north, the Yoruba in the southwest, and the Igbo in the southeast. These groups have distinct languages, customs, and traditions. Uh, Nigeria's population is the largest in Africa, estimated at over 220 million, making it a major economic and cultural center on the continent. Regarding tribes, we'll get into this in a moment. So we'll try to look it from a historical perspective and also its journey of unity and diversity. Nigeria's constitutional development is a fascinating journey, a story of change, challenge, and resilience that reveals the political and social evolution of the country from colonial times to modern day democracy. Nigeria's constitutional development captures a unique evolution shaped by diverse cultures, religions, and ethnic groups. This development has been marked by a series of constitutions that reflects the aspirations and demands of Nigerians at various stages of their political journey. Each constitution introduced new structures and processes aimed at promoting unity, enhancing democracy, and addressing the complexities of Nigeria's ethnically and religiously diverse population. Nigeria's journey to democracy highlights how a nation with more than 250 ethnic groups, three main regions, and a complex and a vibrant but complex social structure can strive for unity and equity. So, from standard data or from empirical point of view, I'll divide the constitutional development in four phases. So first would be the early colonial period and pre-independence, that is from the 1861 to 1954. Basically in 1861 when the British lands in Nigeria. The topic begins in the early in the colonial era with early constitutions created mainly to strengthen British authority rather than representing Nigeria's voices. Okay, basically typical colonial mentality for power and economic load. British is well famous for that. Next, the 1861 Lagos Treaty of Cession. British influence began with the 1861 Cession of Lagos, marking Britain's formal entry into Nigerian governance. And this was less about constitutional governance and more about economic gain for the British. The British control over Lagos grew, slowly spreading across southern Nigeria, transforming Nigeria's indigenous governance and culture. The 1922 Clifford Constitution, here named after Governor Hugh Clifford, this was Nigeria's first formal constitution. It introduced electoral participation in Lagos and Calabar, but restricted voting rights to educated property owners only. This created, this created a political class of elites, sidelining the traditional rulers and most Nigerians. While this constitution was limited, it marked the first involvement of Nigerians in a structured structured governmental role and emergence of political identities. After that, the 1946 Richards Constitution, here the Governor Arthur Richards created a constitution that acknowledged Nigeria's ethnic diversity by establishing regional councils like for the north, east, and west, forming the foundation of federalism. This constitution sought to balance regional identity with centralized administration, but the British still held the majority power, controlling most of the decisions. Although it encouraged political engagement, the constitution also deepened regional and ethnic divides as political parties grew along these lines. The 1951 Macpherson Constitution, this was one of the first constitution which Nigerians were actively involved in its creation. With consultations from local leaders and representatives across the country, this constitution introduced a central legislature and regional assemblies with greater autonomy. That is a step towards self-governance, Atmanirbharta, that is. However, the north, west, and east regions remain distinct in culture, religion, and language, each developing unique identities. The Macpherson Constitution increased political participation but also amplified regionalism, which would later contribute to tensions. The 1954 Littleton Constitution. The Littleton Constitution strengthened Nigeria's federal structure, granting regional autonomy, establishing executive roles, and allowing direct elections for Nigerian representatives. This was crucial as political parties started aligning with ethnic interests, that is, the Northern People's Congress (NPC) in the north, the Action Group AG in the west, and the National Council for Nigeria and Cameroons (NCNC) in the east. These alignments were shaped by Nigeria's ethnic divisions, with the Hausa Fulani, which I mentioned, largely in the north, Yoruba in the west, and the Igbo in the east. This regional based political system would shape Nigeria's future significantly. The next point was the independence and post independence constitution, that is from 1960 to 1966. Nigeria achieved independence on October 1st, 1960. Independence brought new opportunities, but ethnic tensions also intensified. The 1960 Independence Constitution. This was the result of negotiations between Nigerian political leaders and the British government. Nigeria retained a federal system with regional autonomy, but it remained a constitutional monarchy under the Queen of England, represented by a Governor General. Ethnic diversity became central to politics, with each major region dominated by a particular ethnic group. While independence fostered national pride, it also sharpened regional competition as each region sought to promote its people's interests. In the 1963 Republican Constitution, Nigeria became a republic, severing its constitutional ties with the British monarchy. This constitution introduced a Nigerian president as the ceremonial head of state, empowering the prime minister with the executive authority. However, ethnic rivalry escalated, leading to political instability. Notably, the Yoruba, Igbo, and the Hausa Fulani, representing Nigeria's main regions, vied for power, creating an environment where regional loyalty often outweighed national unity. The period from 1960 to 1966 was marked by tensions among these ethnic groups. The Hausa Fulani in the north, mostly Muslim dominated, differed culturally and religiously from the Christian Igbo and Yoruba groups in the east and west, respectively. Each region each region had its priorities, creating a system where tribal loyalty influenced governance. Now, the military era and constitutional experiment, that is from 1966 to 1979. Ethnic rivalries erupted into a crisis in January 1966, leading to the first military coup. Nigeria would be governed by the military for most of the next 13 years. The military intervention. The military government dissolved regional assemblies ruling by decree. Major General Johnson Agui-Ironsi initially led the government, proposing a unitary system to reduce ethnic division, but this move was met with hostility, especially in the northern Muslim regions. Subsequent coup worsened ethnic tensions, and Nigeria's 1967 to 70 civil war, known as the Biafran War, saw the eastern region, largely Igbo, attempting to succeed, citing marginalization. This tragic event highlighted the deep-rooted ethnic and regional disparities and reinforced the need for federalism to manage Nigeria's diversity. The 1979 Constitution and the Second Republic. After years of military rule, a new constitution was introduced in 1979, that is ushering in the Second Republic. It adopted the US-style presidential system to establish a stronger federal government and minimize regional influences in national politics. This system gave substantial power to a president, hoping that a centralized executive would transcend ethnic and regional interests. Despite its intentions, the new republic faced economic challenges and political corruption, leading to another military takeover in 1983. Now, the Third Republic. The Third Republic in Nigeria was an attempted transition to civilian rule between 1992 and 1993, initiated by military leader General Ibrahim Babangida. Following a series of military interventions in Nigerian politics, Babangida's administration began laying out a plan for democratic governance, establishing two political parties, the Social Democratic Party (SDP) and the National Republican Convention, that is the NRC, not the NRC you are thinking, and holding elections. A new constitution was drafted in 1989 to support the transition, reflecting a presidential system of government similar to the Second Republic, with executive powers vested in a president and a federal structure. However, the transition was abruptly ended in 1993 when the Babangidas annulled the presidential election, widely believed to be won by the chief MK Abiola of the SDP, leading to political turmoil and the military's return to power under General Sani Abacha. The Third Republic never fully materialized as the election annulment prevented it from taking root. Thus, it can be described as half military and half civilian. Now, the fourth and the final part is the 1999 Constitution and the Fourth Republic. The 1999 Constitution, currently in use, represents Nigeria's return to democracy and was designed to address the issues of federalism, democracy, and human rights. The 1999 Constitution. This constitution re-established a presidential system, emphasized democratic governance, and enshrined civil rights and the rule of law. It aimed to balance the influence of Nigeria's three major ethnic regions by introducing measures to protect minorities and ensure fair representation. Nigeria's federal structure was retained with power divided between the central government and 36 states to manage ethnic and regional demands for autonomy. The constitution also allowed for the creation of local government areas, recognizing Nigeria's ethnic diversity even within the states. While the 1999 constitution is significant for consolidating democracy, it has faced a lot of criticism. Many believed it was imposed by the military, and it has been amended several times to better reflect the aspirations of Nigerians. Issues like ethnic and regional power distribution, corruption, and demands for restructuring are ongoing challenges. Now, the society, tribes, and ethnicity in Nigerian governance. Nigeria's diversity with over 250 ethnic groups, has had a profound influence on governance and constitutional development. Each constitution reflects efforts to unify these diverse groups while addressing regional autonomy. The three largest ethnic groups, the Hausa Fulani, Yoruba, and Igbo, have often dominated politics, but the numerous smaller ethnic groups, including the Tiv, Kanuri, Ifik, Ijau, and many others, also contribute to the social fabric of Nigeria. Each region not only differs ethnically but also in religious affiliations and traditional practices. The Northeast is dominantly Muslim, the Southwest largely mixed, and the Southeast is mostly Christians. This regional religious divide has often shaped policy and constitutional arrangements as laws like Sharia, it's a Islamic law, apply in parts of the north. The constitution guarantees of religious freedom has allowed regions to preserve cultural identities, yet the tension between customary Islamic and statutory laws continues to be a complex issue. The role of traditional rulers and social hierarchies. Traditional rulers such as emirs in the north and obas in the west remain influential figures in Nigerian society. They provide stability, arbitrate local disputes, and serve as cultural custodians. Despite Nigeria's formal democratic system, traditional structures coexist with modern governance, showing that societal influence extends beyond constitutional text. Social hierarchies rooted in customs and kinship play critical roles in communities, especially in rural areas, underscoring the complexities that Nigeria's constitutions must navigate. Now, I'm trying to sum up the key themes in Nigeria's constitutional development. First was the federalism and regionalism. Federalism is a core theme in Nigerian constitution history. Each constitution attempted to balance central authority uh, with regional autonomy to manage the country's ethnic diversity. Next is the democracy and civil rights. Nigeria's constitutions increasingly emphasize democratic values, civil rights, and the rule of law. However, achieving these ideals has been a gradual process, often interrupted by military intervention. Finally, challenges and reforms. Despite progressive steps, Nigeria's political landscape remains complex. We all know issues like ethnic division, political corruption, and calls for restructuring continues to shape the constitutional discourse. There are some Nigerians who are calling for a new constitution, one that they feel truly represents the diverse interest of the populace. There are many like that. Thanks to the Britishers, made such chaos. So, to conclude, Nigeria's constitutional development is a reflection of its resilience and determination to establish democracy amid diversity. From colonial constitutions to the 1999 constitution, Nigeria's journey highlights the challenges of governing a nation with so many ethnicities, religions, and cultural practices. Each constitution has introduced ideas of unity, while the federal system allows for ethnic diversity within a cohesive national structure. The Nigerian experience reminds us that building a nation is an ongoing process, one that requires dialogue, compromise, and an unyielding commitment to justice and equity for all its people. So that's it, the end. So if you really like this video, do comment the best part you liked. As well, please like, comment, and subscribe. And also, my special thanks to Dr. Annapurna for helping me and guiding me to complete this video. Thank you and Jai Hind.